Hey, so I want to show you some of the things that I found at the store. I'm always pretty excited when I find a good deal. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because sometimes some individuals might get the impression that it is more expensive to eat healthy. Now, I believe that it's equal if you know where to look, but also if you have the right priorities. So first of all, like I've spoken about before, our priorities are really important. Really understanding our priorities and then our motives behind those priorities and our actions. That's going to be foundational. Why? Because if we don't understand what those are, we'll find ourselves trying to do things not even understanding what our true motives are. For example, someone might say, well, it's too expensive to be able to eat healthy. And really deep down inside, they don't want to eat healthy because they know there are some things that they want to have as a go-to, as a source of comfort. Okay, so they don't really want to find out if it is possible. They just want to make an excuse so that they can just eat and do what they want to do anyway, for whatever reason. So that's one example. Another thing would be if, someone says, oh, it's more expensive, and maybe it's just because of something that they heard, okay? And so we want to find out what these motives are, because then we can address them appropriately. So if someone is asking me about it and it's just because they want to make an excuse, or if they make that statement just to make an excuse, then of course I'm not going to take out time to try to really break it down for them, because that's not the issue. With them, what we're looking at is them being willing to see another way, or another way of another option, another way of eating, another way of living. So we want to make sure we're applying the right thing to the correct situation. But I wanted to show you these items because we can get the impression that there's not enough money. And I found that some individuals, they just stick to the places they normally go to. If their mom always go to Costco, they go to Costco. If they always go to Vons or whatever store is closest, then they just think those are the options. Some individuals don't even live near larger stores, and so they just have liquor stores. So all of these things are determining factors. So a good thing about it is that there's typically some place that's close enough for us to go to, and we just need to know how to find these things, okay? Now, the second thing you want to do, this probably goes along with motives or whatever, focus, okay? Your priority. Remember, the number one priority for everyone is going to be protein, okay? When we're looking at increasing our health, improving our health and our longevity, allowing our body to heal and to overall feel better, protein is going to be the number one focus. And so if I understand that protein is number one focus, I'm not going to be looking for all these other things that go on the side. Sometimes we don't realize that we're just snacking throughout the day and we're causing ourselves to be more hungry. And so we just really need to clean the slate and start over again. And this is the first thing back on the plate. It's going to be protein. That's the number one priority. Now, if you're looking at budget, you really are looking at budget, which I can relate to. I know all about budget. I grew up in a family of 9 people, so we're always trying to pinch here and pinch there. But what I found, of course, later on, after knowing the Lord, is that when we ask, that we get a chance to receive. And He shows us ways to get things done if we have the desire to. So for those of you that do have a desire to, this video is going to be for you. All right, so now the first priority is going to be protein. So you want to be looking for the best quality protein for the best price. Now, I've seen different prices at different stores, and what I do is I keep an eye out for it. I used to look at the sales papers, but now I'm looking more for grass-fed meats and organic meats, or organic and grass-fed sometimes you can find. And so I know these different places that I can go to. One of those stores is going to be Grocery Outlet. They always have a number of different products coming in on a weekly basis, sometimes a bi-weekly basis, and you can stop by or make it a habit to stop by once a week to look for these proteins. And they typically have better prices than the grocery stores that I've seen on the higher quality meat. So I would say go over to Grocery Outlet to get your protein. You can get your steak there for a better price. You can get your chicken there for a better price. They have organic, they have halal meats, they have grass-fed meats, they have some organic and grass-fed meats that come in there. And then they might have some brands that they cycle through. But I would say go get your protein from that store. And then also just keep your eye open at stores like Lazy Acres and Sprouts. They also have a section where their meats are at, and they'll have periodical, sales going on that are also great prices. So those three places I would say go to. Remember, prioritize your protein. That means if you're looking at a budget, allow your budget to prioritize the protein, okay? Don't go and say, well, I like this snack or whatever, and then you spend your money on that and you're like, oh, I don't have enough money. No, get the protein first. And just understand that if I have enough left over, then I'll get these other things, okay? So prioritize the protein. The next thing that you want to prioritize is going to be the green vegetables. These are going to be low-carb vegetables, basically low-carb whole foods, okay? Low-carb whole foods are going to be the priority. Looking at lemons, greens, anything that's in its whole form, natural form of the way that it comes and grows up out of the earth, but that are low carbohydrate. The reason why this is important, because many of you, and the majority of the population is fat, over fat. They have excess fat on their bodies. And this is at the root of our issues, is insulin resistance, metabolic disease, all of these. It has to do with this excess fat, and it's coming from these complex carbs. So protein is prioritized, and then these low carb options, okay? Then after that, you're looking at these complex carbs. So out of the healthy complex carbs, we have organic peas, we have organic sweet potatoes and potatoes. These are going to be the ones that you want to prioritize, okay? These type of complex carbs that are still in their whole form. I don't recommend rice because it has a lot of it really soaks up the pesticides, especially if it's not organic, and even the organic ones, they still have a certain level of toxins as well. So if you like rice, I'd say maybe minimize it to once a week. So also keep in mind that your activity level is going to have a lot to do with your carbohydrate intake, especially your complex carbs. So your fruits, and then any of these other complex carbs, have them around the time that you're active. So if you're working out in the morning, then make sure that you do that. You want to have those around that time, okay? If you do have that. But for many people, there's so much stored body fat, it's not even necessary. You can stick with the low carb options, and then you can have fruit like in the morning time, okay? So now I want to show you some of these things that I found. This one is from Aldi's. Now, I've told you about the apple cider vinegar before. This is important because it's going to help with your digestion. So as we increase with age, what happens is our ability to digest proteins, it decreases. So just putting this in some water before your meal is going to be very helpful, and having a couple tablespoons also before bed is going to be good. Okay. Another one, I found this one at grocery outlet. This is one of the deals I found. This is stevia, so if you do want to use some sort of a sweetener, sometimes this is stevia, you can use this one. This is normally like $4 a box. I found this for 99 cents a box. Okay. This is another one, some of their grass-fed meat that they have there. This one was actually $5.99. So this is going to be a really good deal in comparison to maybe upwards towards $8. This one is a really good price, and that's their regular price for that one. This one I found, now this is actually sunflower oil, and I typically don't say the seed oils, but this one is not refined, and it also it's cold pressed. So it doesn't have the chemicals and the toxins in the process that the other ones have. And this one, normally like $7, this was only 99 cents. And then this one, I found this one here. This one is organic peanut butter. When I read the ingredients, it's only peanuts. There's nothing else added in there. And they had crunchy and they had smooth. This normally is anywhere from $6 to $7. This was 99 cents, so I got like 4 or 5 of these. This is another one that I'll usually find at grocery outlet. They've had this one quite a few times. This is a brand called Lily's. Now, if you say you want something sweet, but you don't want the sugar, this one is sweetened with stevia. So they have a lot of different ones, but this one in particular at grocery outlet, they don't have all of Lily's options, but they did have this one for quite some period of time. It was only 99 cents, normally anywhere from $3 to $4. Okay, now I found some other options at the Dollar Tree. So for those of you that are looking to get, might drink energy drink or something around your workout, this one, first of all, you don't want to have caffeine after 12 noon, okay? I recommend if you're going to have any kind of caffeine, just have it in the morning time, and then that's it, okay? Or have it maybe in between, a couple of hours that you wake up. But these are normally like $3 to $4, okay? I know the gym that I work at, they charge easily $5 and almost $6 for some of them if you're buying them individually. This one I found was only $1.25 and at the Dollar Tree. Good thing about this one is that it also doesn't have any of the artificial sweeteners. It has L-theanine, and then it has herbal mate, and then it has some other forms of natural caffeine. None of the colorings or any of the artificial ingredients or sweeteners in there, okay? So none of those toxic ingredients. I also found these two for $1.25. This one's called Glow. It has some more antioxidants, it has the electrolytes, and this one is good as well because, once again, it doesn't have any of the chemical colorings or flavorings or any of that, okay? No sucralose, no aspartame. $1.25. Normally, like I said, about $3 or $4. This in the grocery store is typically like $2 something, about $2 and some change. I got this for $1.25. Now, the reason why I like this one is because it's, once again, no artificial sweeteners in there, and they have different flavors. At the Dollar Tree, I found that they typically have 2 or 3 flavors. They also have blueberry acai, and then they also had a coconut one, which I really like because the coconut flavor has more potassium, and that's the reason why I started drinking these. It's to find ways to get extra potassium, okay? And so those are the deals that I found, but I'll even share with you all ways to get supplements and things like that are necessary. But like I said, it comes down to prioritizing. If you're just looking at just being able to be all over the place and just eat by your emotions, okay, well then you can't expect to get any sort of level of optimal health with that. You're just going to stay fat and you're going to get sicker. But if you do want to change those habits, then support yourself in reframing your priorities, your mindset, and your motives. First, initially finding out what those motives are, and then starting to work against that. You see, if you see that you have those deep-rooted issues that are connected to food because of some sort of situation that happened when you were young, or something that happened at one point, it was traumatic, and then it did a turn in your life, and then it exacerbated at some point. We need to get to the root of these because they only work against us and destroy us and get worse and worse as we continue. They don't stay the same, they grow. So if we allow that fear, that wrong mindset in one area, we think it's going to stay boxed up there, it never does. Destroys our health, our relationships, and all of these things. Our work, our ability to be able to express ourselves with the gifts that we have. And it is a really dark place, okay, a tormenting place. And we don't have to be tormented within ourselves. We can have freedom. And so this is just an example of some of the ways that we can still be able to keep ourselves healthy. And I think it just comes down to having an open mind to seeing things differently, okay? You don't have to have donuts and sweets and rice and all of these things all the time just because it's been that way with your family. No, it can change. And we have to go through, we go through these different things in life. We have to be aware of why we're responding the way that we're responding so we can be healthy. We don't have to leave this place sick, tormented, depressed, all of these mental anxieties and worries because this world is going to bring trouble. But Jesus said we can be of good cheer. He's overcome it, and he's willing and ready to help us. If we just look back at any length of time that he's helped us in our life, or if we're not aware of any time that he helped us in our life, if we slow down at this moment today and say, Jesus, and be honest, I don't know if you ever helped me. He will show you, okay? And that's going to be the foundation of any sort of thing that we can do in this life. If we want to continue to move forward, which you can't stay in one place, you're either going back or forward. And if you want to move forward in your health, this is the foundation, because these things that stop us from getting healthy, these are lies that turn into thought processes and strongholds that are really stopping us. And let's work together to move forward and to support one another in this. I want this to be a place that we can do that. So I'll leave some information down below of my membership. If you want to join that to help support me being able to continue to do this type of thing, and also sharing this information here. Please support. You can also, of course, support through my Cash App link. I'll put that down below as well. And I have the Nourish to Flourish ebook that you can support me through. That just gives you some really good information as to symptoms you're probably experiencing, at least a couple of those, and the nutrient deficiencies that are correlated to that. I mean, it's extremely empowering when you see that, wait a second, are you telling me that all of this physical torments because I'm at a deficiency? I've been a deficiency for so long. You're telling me that this drug, this pharmaceutical that I've been taking to feel better has actually been harming me? And it's so empowering and freeing. And that's how we should be able to live, without our bodies and our minds restricting us from being able to live the life that God set up for us to live, and to really help others to move out of those places as well by being an example or direct assistance. So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to sharing some more information with you soon. Have a blessed day.